refinements and things there. Sort of like shifted gears a bit to work on the like reward aspect of it, which will include raffles and a gold pot as well. So I've been working on that most of the weekend, actually. So I'll probably talk about that a little bit more here in a bit. But we also have Austin happening, which Bolon can probably share a bit more here in a second as well. And that presents a lot of really cool opportunities for us to meet with a lot of the community, but also to meet with other like projects and firms to look into trying to do partnerships and things as well that are like mutually conducive to our like roadmaps and things. So I'm going to try to conserve my voice a little bit because I have a flight later on today as well, and I don't want to be hacking during it. But Bolon, do you want to talk a little bit about Austin, and then we'll go into some of the questions?
Yeah, for sure. And up here with us real quick, just to run through, although they've all been up here, is Jack Sickles and Bone Pillar, who are both with our lore department, and Second Best Dad, who's here with our game art department. So, yeah, we're in Austin. We're here for Decentral and Consensus. We'll be setting up our booth a little bit later today for Decentral, which is tomorrow and Wednesday. And then Consensus is Thursday through Sunday. So there's a handful of us here excited for it, going to get some marketing out, and really, really excited for these two events because they're really like significant events. They have a pretty good turnout, but they're also just fairly big in the crypto space. So we're really excited for that. We have some merch to hand out. Having a booth at Decentral will be really cool. So very much excited for that. Very much thrown off by the time change, but I will say, coming from Florida, Texas weather's actually really not bad. Like, it's hot, but it's way less humid, and I'll take it. So, yeah, excited for that. Risen's here, of course. A few others are here. Now that I think about it, I should have made Risen actually come up here and talk about it, but I did not think about it. So you just get me instead. But we have a lot planned for it. We have several people that we're meeting with for like some biz dev connections that we already have meetings scheduled. So that'll be really nice. But we're definitely going to make it a very productive time here in Austin.
I was about to say, like, I'm from Texas and I haven't heard many people like refer to it as less humid than where they came from. So that speaks to Florida, I guess.
Yeah, it's only in like the 60% humidities here versus like 80 to 90. So, you know, I'll take what I can get. Actually, today's only 42% here. So when I come from a swamp, the bar is set very low. But yeah, we're excited to be here. Excited for this opportunity. We're going to make it a really good week and make sure that we get a lot out of it as well. So I did want to give a moment to Jax and Bone Pillar both to give us some updates on the lore side, and then we'll give a moment to Second Best Dad. I think he had a couple things he was going to mention, and then we'll get started in on some questions.
Yeah, for sure. On the lore side for us, we basically from like a user visible perspective, we mainly put out those pet descriptions the last couple weeks ago, but we've also are looking to do more stuff that's more visible here in the short term for you guys. So I actually have Jax here today who can give like an update on basically what he's planning on doing with that. Specifically with what we have available on the website and building some lore into there.
Yeah, based on the feedback I got from the community a couple weeks ago, along with collaborating with my favorite Lord of Chaos, also known as Risen, we thought it would be great to update the lore section of the docs, preferably like have its own website section. And I'm writing up the lore for that as well. I want to introduce a pretty significant chunk of lore in there compared to what we have now, since it's been, since August that document's been up there. Raspberry Swirl is helping with that. She did put out a tweet for that, which I will share in the voiceless chat of the of like it's like a rough wireframe of the website that we're working on. So I'll share that in there right now. Ding. And that's pretty much what I have for right now.
And then just to note with that, while we're working on the website, though, with that, we will be updating the actual docs section in the docs as well. So you'll start to see some of that lore come out on the already accessible page for that too. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, Paul.
Appreciate the update from y'all, and very much excited myself for that. I really like being able to read into the stories and the lore and the background of everything. And I think excuse me, I think I speak for many when I say that the pet descriptions have been really cool and really fun, and like add just a really interesting element to the pet cards to be able to have that like background of what each animal or pet is. And with that, let's actually go to second best dad, who knows all about pets, right?
I don't actually have any pets, which I guess is ironic. But the art team is mostly still in the concepting phase on the green eggs. I've done a few animations as well, but fortunately, the tech side of things and deciding all the nuances of the layout is already done, which makes it a lot easier to just focus in on bringing green eggs and then yellow and then gold eggs as quickly as possible. And we already know that you guys seem mostly fond of them. And there's going to be a whole bunch of them. I think we learned a lot about the rarity spreads with this previous release, and we're taking that information forward to make sure that they continue to be interesting moving into the next few eggs.
I feel like you're just being too modest now.
Oh, yeah.
So the creator of most of our pets doesn't own a pet. This needs to be remedied.
Oh, I mean in real life. I actually do have one pet. I've been spending a lot of time trying to get more eggs, but RN Jesus has been just murdering me over and over. And
RN Jesus hates me too.
it's tough.
Same. No, the pets have looked really good, and excited to see them continue come out with a couple more egg colors. Obviously, more egg colors means more pets. So very much excited for that to continue on. What's the? I actually think I do know the number, but what's the total number of pet possibilities? Second best dad.
Oh, I don't know that. I'm not a numbers guy. I make the pixels.
I think it depends on who you ask and how you like math it, because with all of the different like abilities and stuff you could get, all of the permutations, there's probably like billions. But in terms of like unique pet looks, I don't know, there's like hundreds.
I want to say it was around 300 if I remember.
Yeah, that's what I want to say too.
Yeah, so no small undertaking in terms of art and not just art, but lore as well, to, create 300 pets, design 300 pets, have backstories for 300 pets. It's a lot, but it's come together really nice, and they look awesome, and I think people are very excited for them. I am going to also drop a little teaser because I forgot to mention it before, but we do have a keynote that we're going to be giving during Decentral. I believe it's tomorrow, but don't quote me on that just yet. But we're going to be giving a keynote during Decentral, and I would guess that there might be some good information in it. That's all I'm going to say. But keep an eye out for that. We'll, of course, make sure that y'all are aware of it and have a way to get that information, whether that be a stream or a recording or a write-up, but we'll make sure that any information that goes out during that keynote is disseminated to everybody else as well.
I looked it up, and I think this should be accurate. I think it's 273, the pet number there.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a small number, right? Like second best pet. You can design 273 pets in like 2 hours, right?
Yeah, you're turning those in today, right? The other set.
Maybe 2.5.
He's already had them done for like weeks. He's just slowly releasing them.
I gotta maintain that job security.
Right.
There you go. So awesome. Yeah. If y'all have anything you want to add real quick, feel free. And otherwise we'll start pulling up some questions. So if you're in the audience, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to raise your hand. We go in order of hands, pull people up on stage, and that way we can get some additional questions going. All right. I'll take that as y'all don't have anything you want to add right now. So I'm going to pull up Coolio. Coolio, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing? So first question I had, obviously we're a very tight-knit community now, considering the crypto economics and everything that's going on. So what are your guys' biggest marketing moves that you're making in order to onboard more community members?
Man, that's more of a dreamer and marketing question. But I know, like, for example, these events, just like raising awareness, trying to find good partners who can do co-marketing is important. We're speaking with, well, I'm not sure how much of this I can say, actually. Oh man, I should probably just let Dreamer say some of this at his keynote. But yeah, we are like working with strategic partners to see what we can do to create more of like a metaverse integration where like we would be integrating with other games would be integrating with us. And then looking into, other chains and such, trying to see what things we can do there as well. So there's like print media where doing a push on like merchandise, which I think will be important. And then a part of the merchandise push, which I'm not sure how much of this I can share either, but like allows you to like receive them for free in like certain cases. And also vice versa. Sometimes you can buy like stuff in the merch store that might like add achievements or like certain things in game as well. So there's some awesome things there. But yeah, that's probably more of a question for them. So I'll stop saying I probably said a little bit too much already.
That's perfect. I feel like I always ask the cryptic questions or the people who aren't there. So thank you for answering, Frisky. As far as art goes, I think it seems like the majority of the community, I can't speak for everybody, really enjoyed the update to the marketplace. Is that an expansion, that style of art that we're considering moving into other aspects of locations on the map?
I probably should let the artists actually answer that, but I have some thoughts on it too.
Yeah, the intent is to move that direction, but currently we're focused on forward progress, creating new features and things, and it doesn't make a ton of sense to do like crab development right now when we have so many features coming out. But in the future, we do have plans to just generally bring the production quality of the game forward. And I think stuff like that also does affect marketing. There's a number of people sort of guerrilla marketing our game for us on social media as a result of like having high quality pets and things like that people see that and they're like, wow, this is still going, and they're interested in that way. But obviously it's going to be tough right now.
Yeah, I really, really love that style as well. And I would like really love to see some more zones. I think the sort of like the focus right now is with like newer features that we put in, having sort of like a revamped art style for some of those, like lands comes to mind. Like with our lands feature, we're going to have the ability for players to basically enter into their own like land like zone, and they'll see all of like the stuff that's there as far as resources and stuff that they're able to do and like harvest, and then they'll be able to build buildings and sort of like set up their land how they want it to be. And like those lands will give like bonuses and things for them and for guild members and such like that. And it'll be used in our like travel system and stuff like that as well. So there's a lot of things there that we're sort of like working towards that will have more of that other art style.
Awesome. That really is very exciting, actually, the whole land aspect. So awesome. I'll let somebody else jump on, but thanks so much, guys, for all you're doing.
Appreciate you, Coolio. Appreciate the insight. Like I mentioned before, we do have the keynote, and there'll definitely be some worthwhile information in there. But I think also there might be some information relevant to that question potentially in there as well, which I know doesn't help right now, and I don't have that information anyway, so I couldn't give it to you even if I wanted to. But definitely stay tuned for that keynote, because I think there'll be some really, really good drops in there. Oops, sorry, I accidentally muted myself. Be some really, really good drops in there that I think might have a lot of interest. See, now you're going to make me mispronounce your name again. News?
New.
New.
Yeah.
All right. New. What's going on?
Well, I love the pets. I love the artistic direction. And I was just wondering if there's anything in the works to allow pets to be sort of authorized or validated PFPs on Twitter, the way that some other NFTs can be, because some people are doing that with heroes like me in a sort of informal way. And I think everyone should do that and should just tweet a lot more and go on Reddit a lot more. And I'm just going to keep bugging everyone in every channel until they do that. But I think it would also help just visually to have those pets everywhere, and people really love them. So is there anything that works for that?
Yes, I would love that. I know that we had sort of like a different take with these pets than we usually do, where they're actually like, instead of them being composed of a bunch of interior elements that are kind of mashed up like heroes are, they're a lot more like a static NFT image. So I think that would be a lot easier to do, and having those show up in explorers and things is stuff we're looking into as well. So yes, I would personally love to see that for them and for heroes too. I actually was working on heroes, a API that would basically show the images and basically build them, and then you would be able to copy that PNG SVG that could be turned into a PNG into anywhere you'd want. As far as verifying them, there's all kinds of different projects I see that are doing that, and I think you have to work with the Twitter API perhaps, but I haven't looked too far into that, so I'm going to add that to my list of things to do.
And just as far as what you were saying for the new animation and sort of more self-contained aspect of the pets that enables them to work well in that context, you mentioned in the duels preview that there would be more elaborate animation, and that the cards, while serving as the basis for the heroes, would be rendered differently in the animation. And I tweeted that, and it would be great if there could be some teasers on that, I think, because I think it is hard for some people to visualize how the heroes as they exist now will actually move around and fight, except for some sort of hastily thrown together community stuff, which is good insofar as it goes, but it's not representative of what we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, that's a good point. So duels will just be using the cards as they are, but combat will be a sort of like a new look for our heroes. And you'll have to like represent all of the classes and all of the genes and things like that in there as well. But they'll have animations like attack and like use a skill and all that type of stuff too that we're going to be working on. So
so like any teasers that you have for that would be awesome, because it's one thing to say it, but to show it is, I think, really much more effective in social media.
I agree. I'll see if the art team has any that they could share over the next 2 or 3 weeks.
And I know you have limited time and resources, so it's just a wish list. Thanks.
Thanks, New.
Appreciate it, New. And better late than never, but here's Meta.
I was wondering
Hey,
where he
guys.
was.
I know, right?
Yeah, sorry, I had a bit of an off-topic question, so I wasn't really too keen to get in front of anybody else. I really wanted to have the design questions to have the chance first.
I
But
appreciate that.
Bolon gave me the whitelist, so I raised my hand after all. I was just wondering to follow up on a question I asked on the previous AMA, and I mean, most likely, Bolon already mentioned it. You won't be able to answer it completely. I can guess so, at least. But I was wondering to follow up about the locked jewel question that I made a bit earlier. I'll not dive into the details again, but you mentioned then that you would have a tokenomics committee meeting a few hours the AMA, and I was just wondering what you could share about any new potential insights on how the locked jewel situation would potentially be addressed, or what you guys are thinking about. Just following up.
Yeah, we actually ended up spending most of our time talking about duels, but we did add that to our docket. We started a document where we started sort of writing down all of the ideas we have. Some of them, I don't know where they're at, and I don't know if it'd be more harm than good to share all those ideas as it is now, because we're still fleshing them out. But there's things like, I think I mentioned last week a few of them, but there's ideas like the ability to perhaps use locked jewels earlier on more things in game, and there's also sort of creating enriched locked jewels where players could opt to perhaps lock their jewels for longer and then be able to get things for that. There's I'm trying to remember what else there was. I know that Mr. Fawn had a bunch of ideas too, and I'm probably misrepresenting some of his, but those and other questions are really high on our list of how do we kind of soften the impact of that, because we don't want it to create such a big event, I guess you could say. So we are hard at work thinking on those, and if you have any ideas, please feel free to send those over. I actually saw some ideas from the community were sent as well. Yes, which I need to go look at. And that there's a proposal on our build site that's about the in-game economics as well. So stuff like that. We're just looking at. We're having another tokenomics meeting today as well, so I'm going to bump the priority of that, see if we can get some more of that fleshed out and maybe even shared with the community.
Awesome. Really looking forward to that.
I just wanted to kind of tag in real quick just to emphasize that, as he mentioned, there's these ideas that are being read, and there's stuff on our build site that's being read. Everything that y'all send to us gets read. That question and suggestions form, the build site. So I know I mentioned that almost every AMA, but I'm going to keep doing it. If y'all have ideas, we have a couple different methods to send them to us. You can also DM me, whatever, DM a night. But all of that absolutely does get seen and heard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just the tokenomics committee in general is sort of a new thing. So we have a lot to talk about each time too. We've been talking about duels and pets and lands and quests, and just sort of how the stuff that we're doing impacts the economy. And that's why you see a lot of our newer features are released with more of a utility driven approach, where we're trying to basically add more and more utility to existing assets, rather than just introducing a bunch of new assets as well. Even pets, even though we're introducing a whole new asset class, the economics around those pets are actually very, very favorable for Jewel and for other assets in game as well. And we're starting to get really close to where we'll like release the update for pets where they can now impact like the questing and like hero stuff, like stats, which will also impact like combat and perhaps even duel in the future as well, and like other mini games. So there is a lot that we talked about in that meeting, and they always end up going like 2 or 3 hours, even though it's only scheduled for 1. But I'll make sure to bump the priority on that one. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. And then I have one more question, actually, that is related for the entire design team, and I can't take credit. The question comes from Colio. I just think it's a really nice one that I really wanted to ask you guys, is what the current implementation or vision will be for the eternal page stories. Is there an idea for a deadline, maybe? Is there an idea of how we maybe want to use them? Any alpha you can drop, or any leaks you can give us, or any tidbits we could like glean from this team in terms of relating to the eternal page stories?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of what we've announced so far, basically, eventually you'll be able to take those pages and basically create a final item with them, essentially. I believe it's been announced, hopefully. But that is the intention with those items. As for the actual like timeline of when that will happen, right now I would need to check in with the mechanics team because there's some mechanical aspects that are related to it, and touch base with them. But I believe we're looking, probably around the August time frame or something like that. But I'm not 100% sure on that right now. So
there's also been talks about like achievements and such, which would then unlock like certain quest lines, and there's all kinds of stuff we can do with that. I think we talked a little bit about merchandise and the potential to unlock access to things if you get those. So yeah, there's some really cool things that we could do with that. And then also sort of speaking of achievements, sorry, getting a scratch in my throat. Speaking of achievements, we're sort of looking into a in-game authentication such that, in fact, like we have a proof of concept of this up and running on one of our test sites, but it'll allow you to authenticate with your like MetaMask to sign a transaction, and that will actually give you a sort of like a logged in session ID with our system, and that will then be used by all kinds of things with our API, like in-game chat systems and like guilds and stuff like that, where like you'll be able to see and sort of interact with other players inside of our game, and then like see their achievements and like send like whispers, or even doing like a guild chat and things there as well. So I'm really excited about adding some more stuff there from the social aspect of our game, so that our players can actually do more things inside of our game.
And to bring it back to the pages a little bit, one thing I think we have also said is that we've kind of said that we'll basically let players use those pages to get some more lore in the future as well. So at least from the lore perspective, I can speak to that. We're planning to utilize those more going forward.
Awesome. Maybe Bone Pillar, can I briefly pick in, and then I'll leave the stage because I'm asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Based on what you just said, yeah, I know. You mentioned that you could use the pages to get more lore. Would it then be useful for someone to, I know I asked this, but just wondering, to maybe not gain any functional benefits from having more than one, for example, page number 2? But could you maybe gain more lore by having more pages number 2, just from the lore perspective, not necessarily anything functional beyond lore?
There's a possibility that could be the case, but at this point, I think more of the intention would be for you to trade those pages with other players to essentially get like a full set or buy and sell them as well. So that would be kind of the more intended way to use the additional pages. I can definitely check to see if we've had any thoughts about those multiple pages at all, getting more lore, but I'm going to guess it's probably going to be one. You only need one page to access the additional lore, probably. And by one page, I mean like one page one kind of thing. So the different pages will likely give you access to different lore. But 2-page ones, I don't think would change the amount of lore you'd get probably. But it's definitely an interesting idea, so I'll definitely keep that in mind as we build that out.
Oh, awesome. I was just trying to see if I could get any more information than you already shared. So that was the main reason why I asked this question.
Yeah, I feel bad because I think I said pretty much the exact same stuff last time about the pages at the last AMA I was at. So if you go back and listen to that one, I think I probably had a more like put together response for that one that I was on. But yeah.
Awesome. I'm going to keep on trying to get more information out of you guys. But thank you guys so much.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks, Meadows. You got to dig, right? Worst that happens is you get nothing, so might as well try.
I wish I could say more.
Right. Well, awesome. We don't have any other hands up at the moment, so unless somebody throws a hand up real quick, we can go ahead and start wrapping up and make this one a little bit of a shorter AMA. But I think it was a really good one, and we have really exciting stuff coming from both art and lore. So I'll start with the lore team. Jackson, Bone Pillar, do y'all have any last minute thoughts you wanted to add? Oh, actually, hang on one second. There's a hand went up real quick, so we'll do one more question since they're ready. Centius.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Sorry about that. So, it's sort of a question and sort of feedback, which is why I didn't have my hand up, but we're here, so here it is. I know that there's different seasons or series of the pets coming out, and you guys are probably going to wow us each one. But I do have one question specifically concerning the shiny. On the hero cards, there's multiple different variants of it. It's always seems different. They're awesome. They're amazing. With the shiny on every single pet, they're all the same. Is that something that is more like we'll be seeing something different maybe each season, or is that kind of where we're going with pets?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect there to be a lot of changes with this season. But yeah, moving forward, when we have some more time to focus on the technology, I would anticipate enhanced or different shiny effects, and as well as other things that would clearly display, what season you got your pet in. That's all I got.
I can also add a couple notes there that our pets, they actually have some information associated with them that is like the randomness like seed, which can be used for things in the future. And I think that's how we're going to be adding some of the additional abilities and such. And I could be misspeaking here. I think Hubert has the full info here, but that is a thing that we could always do in the future too. If we did want to add other effects for shiny, is like we could use that like that seed for stuff like that as well. So
Hubert chimed in a little bit on the voiceless chat. Sorry, real quick. The system is designed to allow us to have different shiny effects per season and multiple effects per season. This season just has the one, but the future seasons have the opportunity for expansion.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Hubert. And also thanks, Nox.
Yeah, on that note, I just want to say I'm blown away by the 3D backgrounds on the pets. Like, literally, that was probably my favorite part of the pets. And I have a couple pets specifically just because of the backgrounds. Nothing else is the reason for me buying it other than the fact that the background is really pretty. So, great job.
I had the exact same reaction. Like when I saw it the first time, I was just like, whoa, this is so fun to play with. Like, it just looks so nice and cool.
Oh yeah, I sit there and just run my mouse over it all day long.
I assume it's Bloater Falls. Best background.
Second best background. The best one is I can't think. The Inner Grove. No, not the Inner Grove. The one with the ruins on both sides. I can't think of the name, but now I feel bad.
The artist should know, right? Do you guys know?
Give me half a sec. I'm looking it up. It is Inner Grove. I was right. It is Inner Grove.
Okay.
Yes, I love Inner Grove. It's so beautiful.
Why don't you compliment one that I made instead?
Well, I mean, the other one I have, I think it's Bloaterfall.
Yeah, we were really excited about doing the parallax effect with the cards, and in general pushing that forward. It was really, really hard not to show that to the community before it came out. But every time we were going to show a preview, we were like, "Oh, we gotta hold this because we want something, on the day of launch where people are like, whoa, we had no idea this was going to be there." So, I would anticipate more things like that in the future.
Yes, Bloater Falls actually is on my penguin that I managed to get. So thank you for that. Oh my God, one last question. Actually, you just reminded me. So I saw a pet that had a top hat, and I remember mentioning to you, second best dad, that penguin top hat needed. So if it is not in the randomness, I am tasking you to make a penguin with the top hat for one of the nether seasons.
There's a thing about the legal risk of accepting somebody's suggestion. So specifically, there will never be a penguin with a top hat. Only the gentleman crab has the top hat.
Now I have to steal it from the crab.
You could probably submit a proposal on the builder's site to add it as a plugin.
This is happening. All right. Thank you, guys. That's all I got.
Thank you, Sentius. I do actually, a couple people threw hands up, so if we can knock these out real quick, we will. I do have a question from the audience. Second best dad, why are you so handsome? Was the question from the audience. It was brought to us by second best dad.
Oh yeah, that guy's pretty cool. I really don't know. Scientists have been studying that, and they haven't figured it out yet. But I'll let y'all know when they do.
It's just like that meme, like Obama giving himself a medal or something.
Right. Yep. 100%. Blue, what's going on?
Hey, Bolin. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Oh, perfect. I just have a really quick question. I know that there are going to be different seasons of pets. What I was wondering about, because I think Hubert didn't clarify this, or maybe I'm missing up the point, is let's say I keep a blue egg from right now, and then let's say the next season opens up in, I don't know, about 2 or 3 months. Is there a possibility that the egg that I got in June could be a season two egg, or will it still remain a season 1? I was just curious about that.
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm pretty sure the way it works with seasons, and Hubert will probably message me if I'm saying something wrong, but I think it's going to depend on when you open it as opposed to when you find it.
Perfect. So, all right. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that because that was what I was thinking, but I wasn't too sure about that. Thank you very much. And that's my only question.
Yep, he just confirmed it in the AMA voiceless chat. It would be a season 2 egg if you hatch during the season 2 period.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Awesome job.
Thank you.
Thank you. One last question is adamantine, and then we'll finish wrapping up.
Perfect, thank you. This is just going to be a quick question. It's more of a quality of life one. I love the new market updates you guys did. The new graphics are phenomenal. I understand why you had to split the market into 2 different areas, but it would be nice if there was like an easy way, like at the end of the road, a thing to click the transfer to the other market, sort of like more of the RPG style. Instead of go up to the menu and then switch a market. It'd be nice if like we can interconnect, sort of like walk the roads between the different areas.
Yeah, that's already been started, I believe, to have arrows between. I think originally that was the thought, and it just didn't make it in the first push. But I would anticipate the navigation being easier in the future as opposed to harder.
Right, yeah, like the graphic updates are phenomenal. It looks good, and understand why the split has to happen. But it's just a quality of life thing. It sucks having to jump around a lot. So.
I had the exact same thought too, and actually it wasn't in the original plans for that, so that will get added, I'm sure.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Excellent question as well, Adamantine. All right. So any last thoughts from our lore weavers?
Just that I'm super excited to continue working, and really excited and impatient to get that website rolling because I want you all to witness its glory.
It's a good last thought. I like it. Second best man, any last thoughts?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. I'm just gonna keep grinding away at pets, making sure that I meet all the non-top hat requirements as far as those go. And I would like to emphasize that a lot of some of the comments about the general vibe of the pets are definitely going to be addressed. It's just certain sorts of environments, like a cave where you would find a pet, would kind of dictate a different vibe with the pet. So I would expect garden pets to be more of a garden vibe, and cave pets to be a little bit more peculiar. Let's say, just to tease that.
Very nice. That's some alpha right there. Just wanted to say before we go to Fox to close us out, appreciate all of y'all that are here on the stage. Appreciate everybody that's taking their time to listen to us. If y'all are in the Austin area, make sure you come and see us while we're here. But really excited for this event, really excited for some of these features that are coming up. I still need to collect every pet that's possible to get, so that's probably going to take me a long time. But I'm treating our pets like a game that starts with a P and was really popular in the 90s, but I don't know if I don't want to get, trademark infringement lawsuits. But you gotta capture them all. We'll go with that. But other than that, I'm just really looking forward to some of the stuff that we have coming up. And with that, we'll go to Fox to close us out.
Thank you. I too have to hatch all of them. So yes, I'm going to need a lot more eggs than I currently have. Which actually, I think that's one of the things we're looking at with our like duels and other mini games and such. Is there anything we can do to sort of add some more eggs into our ecosystem too? Not by a lot, because obviously they are always supposed to be rare. But I think it'd be cool to have other avenues in our game to, have like a rare find of an egg as well. But sorry about my voice again. Trying to make it through this. But just sort of like wanted to have a quick note that, we, as I'm sure you can see from like last week and the week before and even the week before that, we aren't slowing down our pace at all with like releases and like really cool features that we are creating and having them get shipped. I think actually in like the last month, we've shipped more major features than we've shipped like in any other month period of time. Like we've just done a lot of stuff there, and it's not slowing down. We're really close to duels. I think Dreamer will be speaking a little bit about that more tomorrow at his keynote. And I'm excited about that just because it's the first time in our game we've had any kind of ability to actually compete with other people directly, and then having like the, like the ranking system and having like the bragging rights there for that. That's huge. And then for those that are able to hit the higher ranks, having like really cool achievements and like some flair on their profile pictures and things like that, as well as potentially opening up new, like quest lines or access to things is also huge. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to have my butt get kicked by most of you people out there in the community. And then speaking of duels, we did listen to a lot of the feedback on that. We will be, like revamping stuff as we go, trying to see what works and what needs to be adjusted. One of those things we adjusted was adding the gold pot, which I'm actually almost finished with now. And that one's going to be really cool because you can basically trade your raffle tickets in for gold and then have that actually be profitable. And then, other than that, just, we're still here. We're still excited about all the things we're building. We think there's a really bright ecosystem ahead of us that we're creating. A lot of things to draw people in and do and compete and create this online world. And then as far as like utility for Jewel expanding that and all of our features we're doing and all of our expansions that we're working on at the same time. So yeah, just happy to be here, happy to be building, and still feeling like really energetic, really bullish about like the future of our project as well. So with that, I'll just wrap it up and say bullish. Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks for being in our community, and thanks for being awesome.
Bullish.
Bullish.
See you guys later.